Yes, people, welcome to Never a Foul. This is not the typical video. I just thought, something disgusting's happened, and and I feel like it's important that we all love football. We understand that, and around football sometimes there's tragedies, and today it's absolutely disgusting, horrifying, and diabolical that someone had to go out and do what he had to do. I'm not going to share no images. I'm not going to share no videos. I've seen them myself, multiple different angles. Appreciate everyone that had, the courage to even record it, because you could see by their faces they were horrified. On a day of celebration, on a day of joy, someone just thought, you know what I'm going to go and do? I'm going to go and lose the plot and lose my head. Now, the build up to the situation, look, I have seen a couple things, but that does not warrant why someone had to react the way they had to react. There's plenty of police in the area, and now he's ruined his life. Yeah. And you know what? I hope you rot in hell. I hope you rot. And I hope you learn from your mistakes, because, that's someone's family. At the end of the day, could be someone's wife, son, husband, cousin, auntie, uncle, name every family member, and just someone's just dear friend. And as humans, you can't help but share compassion, even if you don't know them. That's why we will say, you spare a thought, you spare a prayer, especially if you are a praying person, especially tonight, before you go to bed or before you eat some food, just, it all counts at the end of the day. And rivalries all aside, you can see who I support if you don't know who I am, which is fine, but that's not the point. That stuff gets dragged. You won the Premier League, and everyone's there for one purpose. And it's like, what happens next parade? Someone's going to have a tiff, or someone's going to have an idea to go and do the same thing. England's police force must be doing better. They're flooded everywhere, They were alerted to the situation. And you know what? It's probably unfair on them, because you probably don't expect it, but that's why you got to do the job you have to do and be on alert. Now, I hope no one's severely injured, but I've seen that, someone's in a neck brace. I've seen someone's actually broken their spine, and it's a shame. I hope no one, gets paralyzed, or let alone dying. Someone should be able to go to their houses tonight, or homes, or wherever, and, say hello and go have a hot meal. I don't know. It's quite emotional. I'm not going to lie. You like, with everything that's going on in the world, this is probably like the last thing that's needed, It's a shame. It's pathetic. And it's not about who the guy supports. And if you go online, you can see already who they're trying to blame, even, trying to pinpoint, to do the stereotype thing. I just hope anyone that's watching this, they don't get involved with the stereotyping. It's already been identified. I don't need to say what skin color he is or what religion. At the end of the day, that's just an evil man who's had an evil moment that's going to get dealt with swiftly, I'm pretty sure. And, anyone that's involved, and that done their bit to try and stop this person, and, big up to you if you ever see this video, because, you save lives today. Do you know what I mean? Like, if people didn't sacrifice themselves to stop the car, including police, by the way, you never know what might have happened. He might have went full like into gear 4 or 5, and there's an absolute rammed the next set of people just because. You should have been there in the first place. It was an occupied zone. It was laid out from early. Everyone knew the route. I couldn't help but think like, oh shit, like, I've got a few friends up there today, Roms. But luckily they post quite regularly. So, but for the ones that didn't, they might not be able to return to work tomorrow. But yeah, I just hope everyone doesn't get involved into the whole stereotype thing. It's a shame, and anyone that is involved, big up to you as well, for obviously, again, for what I just said. And yeah, hopefully everyone's safe. Anyways, not your typical video. It's just not the time, is it? It's wrong time, wrong place. Simple as that. Anyways, love.